Day 3 of free agency, we definitely had some moves that will affect fantasy football, and we may have actually gotten clarity from Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back, guys. Going to be recapping everything that happened today in free agency, and let's start right there with Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show today. Basically saying he went into the darkness, ready to retire, came out of the darkness, ready to play football again, and he wants to play for the Jets. And now I guess we're just waiting for the two sides to work out a deal. No timetable here. There's no rush if you're the Packers, right? The Packers want to get whatever they can for Aaron Rodgers. I'm sure both sides kind of digging in their heels here, not wanting the Jets probably not wanting to give up too much. The Packers not wanting to, give him away for nothing. So he will be a Jet eventually this season at some point. So I guess the drama is behind us. Finally, we can move on. He's a Jet. Garrett Wilson locked in as a top 10 wide receiver. Elijah Moore, a great late round kind of dice roll wide receiver. Then we had a slew. Who says that anymore? I do, I guess. We had a bunch of running back moves today. And let's start with my friend, my dusty friend, Ezekiel Elliott, who was cut by the Dallas Cowboys today. Thought maybe they would restructure him. They didn't. They said, we're done with you. Get out of here. Who knows where Zeke's going to land? Who cares? He's dust. But this is very good news for Tony Pollard because they franchise tagged Tony Pollard. I know there's a lot of people speculating they're going to draft Bijan. Why would they draft Bijan? I mean, it's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, you never know what he's going to do. But they just franchise tagged Tony Pollard. He's pretty good. I could see him maybe signing a low-cost veteran, maybe like a Damian Harris, somebody like that, to kind of be the goal line, between the tackles kind of runner. But I think we're going to see a lot of Tony Pollard this year. I have finally bumped him up ahead of Travis Etienne in my rankings. If I was redoing my top 24 video today, Tony Pollard would be in there, no doubt about it. And then Miles Sanders to the Panthers. A lot of people like this move. I don't get it. I mean, okay, sure, he doesn't have a lot of competition there, but he's got Deuce Staley, who, when he was in Philadelphia, made Miles Sanders part of a committee, made the Lions a total committee, and even said this year he's going to use 3 running backs. He believes in using 3 running backs. Plus, he's in an offense that's going to have a rookie quarterback with no wide receivers, probably going to be a bottom 5 offense this year. I don't like Miles Sanders in fantasy. I don't think this is great for him. It's fine. He'll maybe have some moments, I'll have some games, but I don't think this is a great spot for Miles Sanders personally. And then Jamal Williams, after Detroit said, get lost. We want David Montgomery. How can you tell Jamal Williams to get lost? He lands in New Orleans for a 3-year deal. Again, you can't like this as much as you did in Detroit because, A, the Saints don't have nearly the offensive line Detroit does, but B, Alvin Kamara, even though he is going to be suspended probably, he will be back at some point, and that's going to affect Jamal Williams. And then let's not forget the vulture, Taysom Hill. No way Jamal Williams gets 17 touchdowns as a Saint, so this has got to be a downgrade. Also, I guess we got to root for the Saints now because they have Jamal Williams, and you just got to root for any team with Jamal Williams, right? You got to root for Jamal Williams. He's such an awesome guy. So hoping for the best, but don't expect a repeat of last year. And then Alexander Mattison thought he might go somewhere else, thought he might try to go to a place where he could be the lead guy. Decided to stay in Minnesota. It makes sense. He's getting over $6 million guaranteed, which is pretty good in this landscape, a running back landscape market. I mean, Miles Sanders got a 4-year, $25 million deal. That's Miles Sanders, so that's pretty good for Madison. But here's the thing. The reports from the beat writers are saying that they felt like if the Vikings brought Madison back, it meant Dalvin Cook would be gone. There's a lot of speculation right now that Dalvin Cook may get traded. So right now might be the time in your dynasty leagues, go see if you can get Madison on the cheap, a third, something like that, just in case the Vikings do trade Dalvin Cook and Madison is a starter there. We know Madison as a starter is great. So, yeah, don't give up too much for him, but something to keep an eye on with Dalvin Cook there. Some speculation he may be traded. And then the last running back move, James Robinson to the Patriots. I mean, whatever. The only thing this really does is it solidifies Ramondre Stevenson as an RB1. We saw James Robinson is not a threat. He was not a threat to Etienne. He did nothing on the Jets. He's just not a threat. I mean, yes, he'll get the ball sometimes, but Ramondre should be locked in as the lead back in this backfield. Got to feel good about him as an RB1 going forward now. And you got to think Damian Harris, even though we pretty much thought he was on the way out, is certainly on the way out now. So we'll have to wait and see where he lands. All right, we did have one wide receiver move today. Juju to the Patriots. Patriots were busy today. Juju Smith-Schuster to the Patriots. Can't like this. I don't know how you can like this. He was just on the Chiefs when they had no other wide receivers. And sure, he had some decent games, but he was mostly bad. Now he's on the Patriots. Not going to throw the ball as much. And Mac Jones, not quite as good as Patrick Mahomes. Not quite there. Juju, I don't even really get this for the Patriots. Jacoby Myers is better than Juju, and they're basically paying him what Jacoby Myers got paid. I don't know what the Patriots are doing, but yeah, I was already pretty much out on Juju. Now I'm completely out on Juju. I just don't see a path for him in this offense to be anything, really, to be anything. I mean, yes, of course, he'll have like a game or two because he's on the field, but pretty much that is it. And then lastly, a couple quarterback moves. We got Baker Mayfield on the Bucs. I am out on the Bucs receivers. I don't care because it sounds like it's going to be a QB battle between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. I don't care who wins the battle, if you can even call it winning. I don't want Godwin. I don't want Evans. This is no thank you. No thank you. You're going to see, like, you're going to be in your drafts and you're going to see the name Chris Godwin still on the board, and you're going to think, how is Chris Godwin still here? Or you're going to see Mike Evans and think, how is Mike Evans still here? This is why they're still there, because they're going to have Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask throwing them the football. Maybe Chris Godwin late I would take a chance on because he runs the shorter routes. But Mike Evans, almost no chance in this offense. But I'm really just out on both of them outside of really deep best ball leagues. And they probably won't fall enough in deep best ball leagues anyway. So I'm pretty much out on them. And then finally, my Commanders, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, this is just such a commander move. Such a commander move. It's like, instead of taking one step back and just say, you know what, this year, let's just go full rebuild for 1 year, take a step back, and potentially then take 2 steps forward. They just keep doing this with these below average QBs who can just kind of keep them right where they're at, right? Just stay right where you're at. Just mediocre. Every year, mediocre. I don't know if this is going to be a QB battle. I know there was a talk that Sam Howell will be the quarterback. Who knows? I really hope they just roll with Sam Howell. I would rather find out what Sam Howell can do over a season than Jacoby Brissett. We know Jacoby Brissett. He's barely good enough. So anyways, I think that about covers it. Let's get to the questions now. If I forgot anything, let me know. But I think that was all the major moves. That's the face of a man. See, we're talking about the thumbnail. Yeah, no broccoli here. Stinger with the prediction. If the Titans trade Henry, Bijan will be a Titan. I could see that, but I haven't really heard anything about the Titans. I know there was some reports early in the offseason they may be trying to trade Henry. Haven't really heard anything about that. We'll see. We'll see what they do there. What's up, Chase? Curious to see if the Bills get a running back. Yeah, I don't know. They're every year, right? People link running backs to the Bills. I think they have bigger issues than running back. We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. Vibe have apologies if I mispronounced your name. I'm sure I did. My apologies. Does this mean D-Hop and the Patriots are a no-no? I think so. I don't think it really makes sense. Because, you know, DeAndre Hopkins, 30 years old, 31 years old this year. You just signed Juju to the 3-year deal, who I think is still like 27. Does it really make sense to go out and get like a DeAndre Hopkins? I feel like a team who's going to go get DeAndre Hopkins is a team that's trying to make a run this year or within the next couple of years. I don't think the Patriots are there. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of talk that Bill Belichick really respects DeAndre Hopkins. He's a good wide receiver, maybe, but I think it certainly lessens the likelihood of that happening. Yeah, we should mention this. I didn't talk about it because he's offensive lineman, but Orlando Brown to the Bengals. That offensive line might actually be really good this year for the Bengals. It'll be interesting to see, you know, when these teams meet, because these are the class. These two teams are really the class. Well, them and the Eagles, I guess, are really the class of the NFL. So, yeah, we'll see. But Bengals have definitely improved that offensive line, no doubt about it. Pretty sure Tanner saying, pretty sure Baker averaged 10 points per game last year as the last ranked starting QB. Yeah, Baker is not good, and he's not good for fantasy. Not good for fantasy. Not good for wide receivers. I mean, he made Odell Beckham look average. Like, yeah, I'm out on the Bucs wide receivers, no doubt about it. And then Scorp, Brissett, low-key an upgrade, though, and they could be – see, this is the problem, though. Yes, they could be wild card contenders. And then they lose in the wild card, and then they get picked 18, and they're just stuck there. And then next year they sign, I don't know, Jared Goff when the Lions draft, whatever. They sign some other, like, okay, not good enough, but not terrible quarterback, and they just stay stuck there. They're not – Ron Rivera is not willing to say – let's sacrifice for a year or two, try to rebuild this thing, get a future franchise quarterback that can actually be here for more than one season and rebuild this thing. Just won't do it. Just keeps wanting to eke into the wild card, be like, we were one game away. We almost made it. Like, very frustrating. Very frustrating. All right, Adithya, apologies if I mispronounced that. How does David Montgomery being on the Lions affect Swift's value? We talked about this last night, but I'll talk about it again. You definitely got to be a little, I guess it's going to be more like last year, right? I'm sure Montgomery will be in that Jamal Williams role. I think the thing that concerns me more about Montgomery than Jamal is Montgomery, even though he's not an elite pass catcher, he's at least capable catching the ball. Like Jamal rarely caught passes. So I do worry about that, but obviously Swift being a workhorse running back, not going to happen. So, Ralphie, Eckler liked my comment saying sheep. I don't get this. Can you expand on that? Expand on that for us. Did Eckler actually like one of your comments? That'd be pretty cool. D-Hop to the Giants, that actually kind of makes sense because the Giants are a team, right? Last year won a playoff game, just brought back Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, signed Darren Waller, who's going to be 31 or 32 this year. This is a team I could see getting DeAndre Hopkins because they are a team that has probably a window of like a couple more years because you got to think Saquon Barkley, maybe one or two more good years. Darren Waller, who knows? I could see D-Hop to the Giants. I could see that. Avan saying, no way you're completely off Mike Evans. Baker is bad, but not Christian Ponder bad. I don't know. He's pretty close to Christian Ponder bad, but I mean, look at Evans last year with Brady. How can we feel good about Evans with Baker or Kyle Trask? Because, like I said, at least Godwin can get those cheapy, little like 5-yard throws every now and then. Evans, more the vertical guy, more the deeper routes. I mean, I'm not completely off him if he falls far enough, but he'll probably never fall far enough for me. Probably never will fall far enough for me. All right, let's keep this going here. Got a lot of comments tonight. Everyone's saying Lions pick QB at 6, but they'll probably go cornerback. They've actually improved that secondary quite a bit in free agency, so I could see him going either way there, honestly. Nate, where would you like to see Damon Harris land? That's interesting because Damon Harris is a guy who needs – he's never going to be a 3-down back in the sense that he's not going to catch a bunch of passes. He's going to be a first, second down kind of guy. So, a team – who's a team that already has like an established – it would have been great if he went to the Lions, honestly. I'd probably feel better about Swifty if he had gone to the Lions. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what teams even really need running back right now? I mean, you know what? I'd probably really like him on the Cowboys, honestly. I'd like him on the Cowboys in that Zeke role, scoring touchdowns, not killing Pollard's value too badly. I'd probably like him on the Cowboys, honestly. Oh, okay. So Rams and Eckler liked it. Oh, wow. And Eckler liked it. I mean, hey, he wouldn't have to move. He wouldn't have to move. They play in the same stadium. So I guess he wouldn't even have to move. Yeah, I mean, look at the wide receivers Baker Mayfield's had, right? He's had Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, DJ Moore. Like, he's had good wide receivers and got nothing out of them. Nothing. I'm not falling for it. And other people in my leagues can have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Fine with me. No problem. Yeah. Baker honestly might be better at commercials than at quarterback. To be real. Yeah, Zeke, a guy who needs to go somewhere where I would hate Zeke to the Giants, honestly, because he was still good around the goal line. And I would be very worried that Saquon would get pulled out near the goal line. It'd be very frustrating. But he is still at least good. Zeke is still at least good. You get down to the 1, he'll go forward, he'll get into the end zone. You 3rd and 1, he'll go forward, he'll get that first down. You need a 15-yard run, it's not coming from Zeke. So somewhere where he can be just a bruiser goal line guy for sure. Harris to the Chiefs. Nate's saying Harris to the Chiefs in that goal line role could be nice if they gave the running backs the goal line role, but they don't. It's Patrick Mahomes. They throw the ball near the goal line. Maybe that would change if they had a running back like that, but yeah. Even saying, wasn't Evans a wide receiver 1 with Winston? Yes, I would love it if Winston was there because Winston will chuck it. He will chuck it into multiple – he doesn't care. He will chuck it. Baker will not, and Baker isn't accurate, and he can't throw it deep. It's just, yeah. I would love it if Winston had gone back to the Bucs. I was hoping for that, but it's not happening. It's not happening. Zeke to the Bucs actually makes sense because you'll probably get him for cheap. And as much as I like Rachaad White, he's not a overly big dude to where like you're gonna, when it's at the goal line, you'd rather have like Zeke in there pounding it in. So Zeke to the Bucs makes sense to me for sure. Paper asking, Cowboys drafting Bijan. I see this a lot, but I don't like. I hear this a lot, I should say, but I don't see it again though. It's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones loves shiny new toys, so maybe. But you just franchise tag Tony Pollard. You're paying Tony Pollard $10 million, which if you look at what the other running backs are getting paid right now, that's a lot of money, right? I mean, Miles Sanders, like I said, just signed a 4-year, $25 million deal. It's a $6 million a year. Rashad Penny was like not even close to that. I mean, running backs are not getting paid right now. So do you really want to – I mean, I know Bijan would be on a rookie contract and he wouldn't be super expensive depending on where they draft him, but I don't know. I don't see it. But it's Jerry Jones. He's a wild card. You never know. All right, we got a dynasty question from Co Blue. What's up? Give up the 2023 2.04 and 3.04 for Swift? Yes, 100%. I'll do that. I'll gamble. On Swift. Remember, he's on the last year of his contract, so even if he's in like a 50-50 split with David Montgomery, he could leave in free agency next year. He's still young. He's still talented. I'd rather gamble on Swift for those picks for sure. Yes, if the Bucs get Baker and Zeke, it's a fully washed squad. But at this point, what are the Bucs doing? What are the Bucs doing? Are they? Yeah. Chase asking him off Lenny regardless of where he lands. I would say regardless if he landed in a great spot. Like if Lenny went to the Chiefs, let's say, I'd probably have to be on Lenny because they need a Leonard Fournette type of guy. But yeah, I mean, he's not going to like be like an RB1 for me. Maybe at best he'd be like a borderline RB2 for me. Avon asking, do we see the Vikings improving without Cook? We signed Flores. Yeah, I like Flores as the DC there. Actually, the Vikings, they haven't like improved the defense significantly, but it's a little bit better. It can't be worse than it was last year. But to me, Cook, I didn't feel like Cook was a difference maker last year. He had his moments, but I didn't feel like Cook was – I didn't feel like he was bad, but I also didn't feel like he was a complete difference maker. I think what you guys need is obviously to improve the defense. That's number one. But you need another weapon at receiver. So teams like the Packers did in week 17 and like the Giants did in the playoff game. So teams can't just say, we're just going to triple team Jefferson and make KJ Osborne and TJ Hawkinson beat us. You need another wide receiver too. It doesn't have to be like like a alpha wide receiver, but you need another wide receiver that defenses have to respect for sure. Adithya, what teams do you think would be interested in taking veteran running backs like Eckler, Cook, etc.? Yeah, it's got to be teams ready to win right now? Chiefs, Bills, maybe the Eagles, although they did sign Penny, so maybe not now. But think about the teams that are really close to winning right now, who maybe need a running back, need a better running game, who will take on these veterans trying to win now. Because if you're a team that needs a running back, like that's not competing, it doesn't make sense to take these guys on. Paper, who are you more interested in? Miles Sanders, Jamal Williams, or David Montgomery? It's got to be Montgomery right now. I mean, the Lions' offensive line is great. Montgomery is a good running back. He will catch some passes. He's big enough to be the goal line guy. I think it's got to be Montgomery right now. Got to be Montgomery. Stefan saying Packers gave Rodgers everything and what happened? Not much. True. Jets are falling for the same thing. Rodgers did say he doesn't have a list, but you never know with these things. But yeah, I don't really understand why the Jets want Aaron Rodgers so badly. They have a really good team, a lot of very, very young talent. I mean, I get like Aaron Rodgers maybe puts him into contention, but are they beating the Chiefs or the Bengals or even the Bills with Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I think they'd be better off like trying to trade up to the number 3 pick for the Cardinals and drafting a quarterback. But that's just me. All right, Mr. Cross Examiner, are you gonna cross examine my answer here? Let's see. Traded Najee Harris for Christian Watson in a non PPR dynasty league. I think it's fair because it's non PPR, which gives Najee a little bit more value. But Watson's still in non PPR is a beast, and he's younger and he's a receiver, so I think it's fair. Isaac asking, can Bills use James Cook as the number 1 running back? I don't think James Cook, to me, he's not built for like a workhorse between the tackles type of role. He's great in the role he's in. Get him out in space, get him outside the tackles, and he's great. But they need somebody that can run between the tackles. That somebody, because you can't always be like third and short. And this is the problem the Chiefs have. And I know they say the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, because they have Patrick Mahomes. But this is the problem the Chiefs have. It'll be like 3rd and 3. And they have to throw the ball because they don't have somebody they can just give it to and say, get 3 yards. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco was nice in the Super Bowl. He's not a guy you want to be like 3rd and 3 and give him the ball. They need somebody. That's why like a guy like Leonard Fournette would be really good for them because he's at least the guy who can go forward. So, yeah. James Cook, I don't think he can ever be an RB1 just because of that. Because of the size there. Paper asking, did DJ Moore skyrocket in your rankings because he did for me? No, because he was already pretty up there in my rankings. I actually like DJ Moore coming into this year for the first time in years. I think I just feel it just made me feel better about him. Like I don't know how to explain. I think what I said, like the way I explained it was like I don't feel better about DJ Moore, but I don't feel worse about him now. It just makes me feel better about where I have him. If that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that well. I mean, this. So Nate's saying yesterday put up the possibility of the Colts being able to put up an offer for Lamar Jackson, and today a report came out that they're interested in him, and they should be interested in him. And it is. I was actually thinking about this today. It's an interesting thing because if you're the Ravens, let's say the Colts do something crazy and give him like $200 million guaranteed. If you're the Ravens, do you match that or do you say, you know what, we're going to get the number 4 pick in this draft, which will probably be a quarterback. They probably could draft one of the quarterbacks if they want, plus a first round next year. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if that happens. And how would I like that as a landing spot? I mean, to me, any landing spot is good for Lamar. It's not like he had some great landing spot. Like who is he throwing to in Baltimore? Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman for the 3 games he could stay healthy. I mean, it's not like he had an awesome situation in Baltimore. Colts have Alec Pierce. They have Michael Pittman. I think they have Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield. I would definitely like that spot for him for sure. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so Mike Brand, that is the question. Because if you're Green Bay, like Green Bay has all the power in this right now, especially after today, because Aaron Rodgers basically said, I was going to retire, but now I want to play for the Jets. So Green Bay holds all the power here because it's like, hey, Jets, you want him or not? It's up to you, right? So yeah, they have all the power here. So if I'm Green Bay, I'm like, look, this is what I want. Take it or leave it. No, take it or leave it. You want Aaron Rodgers or not? Because I'm pretty sure Green Bay is totally fine with Aaron Rodgers retiring. I think Green Bay is done with Aaron Rodgers. So. Yeah, I mean, I talked about this a little bit earlier about Orlando Brown. You got to like it. Bengals offensive line looking good going in next season. Yeah, gotta feel good about it. Gotta feel good about that. Yeah, this is kind of some paper saying if that did happen with Colts, Ravens, I can see them getting Anthony Richardson, right? This is kind of like and I think Nate brought this up yesterday. You got the number 4 pick. You don't pay Lamar, you draft Anthony Richardson. Maybe the Ravens feel like they can work with that. I don't know. We don't know how these teams think, but it'll be interesting to see if a team does make an offer to Lamar, what the Ravens do for sure. Aditya, how long do you think Rodgers ends up playing for the? Yeah, I mean this is why I don't understand this move. Like, because he's going to be 40 in December, and I don't feel like Aaron Rodgers is quite on the Tom Brady nutritional fitness plan. Like, I don't know if we can expect Aaron Rodgers to be elite well into his 40s like Tom Brady was. So even last year, he was not as good as we've seen him even the 2 years prior. So yeah, 1 to 2 years max. So you're selling out to try to win this year or next year, even though you have young talent like Sauce Gardner, Reed, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall. I mean, you have a lot of young talent on this team. Like, you don't need to sell out for the next year or two, but hey, that's what's going to happen. All right, let's see. Yeah, Waller on the Giants. Talked about it yesterday. Kind of meh for me. Kind of meh for me. Yeah, he can still sling it, but I mean, yeah. You gotta be able to do more than sling it. I think, why is Bijan not ranked higher in the NFL draft? I checked, he's not in the first 10. I mean, the guy is a generational player. Is there a reason for that? Yeah, it's because NFL they just don't value running backs. Like, I would hate to be a running back right now. Again, Miles Sanders, 4-year, $25 million. What did Jamal Williams get? Where is it? What did Jamal get? Jamal. Well, I didn't see what he got, but I know it wasn't a lot. I mean, Alexander Madison, $8 million for 2 years. James Robinson, 2 years, $8 million. I mean, it's and then a guy like Juju gets 3 years, $30 million. Like, it's just the NFL just doesn't value running backs anymore. They just don't, and yeah, they just don't. Okay, well, he's not Barry Sanders. Let's not disrespect Barry Sanders, the greatest running back of all time. But he's awesome. He can do everything. He has the vision. He can hit the hole in between the tackles. He can bounce it to the outside. He can catch. And not just catch, like dump it off to him. I'm talking like catch down the field. Go watch some of his highlights. He makes catches like 20 yards down the field where he's leaping in the air over the defender, catching the ball like he's a wide receiver. And he can pass protect. So you don't have to worry about like that liability. He can be out on the field every single play. He can hit home runs. He's gonna be awesome. He's gonna be awesome. He just is. But not Barry Sanders awesome, but he's gonna be awesome. But the NFL just doesn't value running backs. I like Charbonnet too, but not more than Bijan. But I do like Charbonnet. Saquon Barkley seems to be like the most common one, but I don't feel like that. I feel like he's kind of like, who's a good comp for him? Like maybe a slightly slower Adrian Peterson with way better pass catching. How about that? I mean, and when I say slightly slower, I only mean a little bit. In fact, I think they might have run pretty close to the same 40 times. But Adrian Peterson had that real life, like, insane speed. And I don't know if Bijan quite has that gear. Yeah, gotta like Pollard. Talked about him a little bit earlier when I talked about Zeke. Gotta like Pollard with Zeke gone. Unless they do something crazy like draft Bijan, which I don't think they will. Gotta like Pollard. I got Pollard right behind Kenneth Walker in my rankings right now, which I think is like 8-ish, RB 8-ish, something like that. And depending on what they do, I might even move him up. We'll see. All right, guys, about 30 minutes in here. I think that wraps it up for day 3. Appreciate you guys being on with me again, asking the questions. I don't know if I'll be able to get on here tomorrow because it is day night, and I don't think I'll be able to, but I will try to get on here Friday around the same time. So those of you who, aren't out doing anything crazy on Friday night, you can jump in here. Hold on. I want to answer this question from Brett real quick. So my current RB2 is Donta Foreman. My wide receiver core is loaded with Justin Jefferson, Lamb, Waddle, London, and Christian Kirk. Which wide receiver should I try to move to get a better running back? Well, that's a tough question to answer, but I would say London or Waddle. Probably London. I'd probably try to move London. He'd be the one I'd be trying to move. Or even maybe Christian Kirk. Maybe Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk's the oldest, even though he's not old. And he still commands some decent value. And you can get like a solid RB2. I mean, you're not going to get, one of the elite guys, but you can get a solid RB2. You might even be able to get like I don't know, like a Dalvin Cook. You might even be able to get more in a Dalvin Cook. But I'd be looking to trade Christian Kirk. All right, guys. That's really it this time. I got to get going. Appreciate you guys being on. We will be drafting tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, mock drafting if you want to join us, but I won't be able to come on for free agency, so hopefully it's a dead day in free agency. I'll try to be back on here Friday. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night. See ya.